Now, it's really important to know that the microbiota, or our microbiome, is a normal part of the human body. So right now, I have plenty of microbes on the surface of my skin, all over my arms, my face, everywhere on my body, as well as inside my body, covered in microorganisms. Now, this isn't dangerous or unhealthy. These are typically there. And our microbes actually serve a really important purpose. So the reason we have a microbiota, or one reason that it's really important, is that it can contribute microbial antagonism. So microbial antagonism refers to our good microbes fighting off the bad microbes or pathogens that try to come in and take over. So it makes it really hard for pathogens to just establish themselves in our system if we have a bunch of good microbes there to fight them off. So they actually, can be a little bit competitive in that way and make sure that the bad microbes don't actually infect us. Now, that being said, sometimes those good microbes can end up at the wrong anatomical site. So E. coli, for example, that's a normal part of the GI tract, and it's typically found in feces. So as long as it's in the GI tract, E. coli doesn't really cause any harm. Now, if E. coli gets displaced and ends up in the bladder, that's going to cause a urinary tract infection. So E. coli itself isn't necessarily going to harm our body, but when it's in certain locations, it can be harmful. So the good microbes need to be in the appropriate anatomical site for them to not cause harm. So there's multiple places throughout our body where we have normal microbiota. This would be, like I said, our skin. Now we also have plenty of other areas like the upper respiratory tract, the GI tract, that outer portion of our urethra. Most of it is sterile, but the outer portion, a few centimeters, does contain microbes, and that's completely normal. The vagina, external ear canal, external eye portions like the eyelids and the conjunctiva, those all have microbes, and it's completely normal. Now, there are certain areas that it was discovered that we actually do have some normal microbiota, even though they were previously thought to be sterile. Now, these are results of the Human Microbiome Project, which found the sequences for all of the microbiome. So all of the microbes that typically inhabit humans, we now know all of their protein encoding genes. So we were able to see that those microbiota are actually present in our lungs, our bladder, breast milk, amniotic fluid where a fetus develops, and there's even DNA from microbes in the brain and the bloodstream. So this lets us know that microbes are actually super important for our overall health and not just things like our gut health, which helps with our digestive system. So there's actually plenty of conditions that it's been found that differences in the gut microbiome have been associated with differences in the risk for different conditions, okay? So that means if you have certain distinguishing factors in your microbiome, you might be more likely to have certain conditions. And so these diseases are things like Crohn's disease. You might expect that one because the gut microbiome, it would make sense for it to be related to something that affects the GI tract. But the gut microbiome has also been associated with things like heart disease, asthma, autism, diabetes, and changes in mood like anxiety and depression. So these were pretty surprising because you wouldn't expect that the microbes present in your gut would affect your overall health or specifically your mental health or brain health. So that's pretty cool. This indicates that our gut and our brain are actually more connected than we thought before. And this is referred to as the gut-brain axis. So there's a lot of really cool studies that have come out about this more recently, and it's kind of another up-and-coming area of science that has some really, really interesting work being done. So it's pretty cool to think about. If we could actually see if there's something causing certain conditions that are really hard to understand, we may be able to treat them in ways that are totally different than we would expect by treating the issues with our gut microbiota. So that's pretty cool. If you want more information, please let me know and I can share some publications with you. But yeah, it's a pretty cool area of study. So I hope you found that interesting as well.